Hey everybody, welcome to Wednesday, February 8th, 2023. This is Brad, and I just want to go through the ES chart review real quick for today. It was an inside day, right? So if you look at the daily, you see our candle here. We did not break previous high. We did not break previous low. So this is an inside day. Opportunities were a little limited, but we'll go through those. There was one good push. There was a couple of high resistance runs that you could have gotten into, but you know, it was sort of those ones that you sit there and you sweat it, butt clenching kind of action. You know, if you're sitting there watching it the whole time, you could also have taken some higher time frame trades and sort of set it and forget it. They ended up working out pretty well, but we'll go through it. You know, it all depends on your trading style. So first off, let's mark high of day and low of day, just so we have those for reference. There were a couple other things that I marked out today, so let's just mark a couple other things here. I wanted to see the CE of that wick. There is the weekly opening gap. I did not actually have that marked out. I want to go to the 4 hour. As you see, we have a lot of just this step up kind of thing going on. And the one thing I am looking at right now is this gap, I believe it was this gap on the 4 hour. Now you might ask why, and the reason is because of this. Sorry, yeah, it's that gap, my bad. There's that little gap in there, right here. My fault. So that gap is the target that I have. Now, I've been thinking that it's making its way there, but it's in this tightening bands kind of action right now from here. You know, we got a big high on last Thursday, dropped down on Friday, came back yesterday, dropped down a little bit today. So we'll look at some things here real quick with the golden fib, because I want you to see this. I thought it was pretty interesting. So if you go from this low to this high, we did come down into here on the Friday, and then Monday coming in even to Tuesday drop, right? Yesterday drop. Then from that drop, what did we do? Shot up yesterday from the Fed speech thing, came into the golden range of that, a pullback of that. And then today, what did we do? From that peak, sorry, let me grab that peak there, from the bottom there to that peak, come back down into the golden range. Now there's some other things to look at, and I'll show you here. One thing I've been looking at is not on the 1 hour, but I do want to point out the 1 hour. What is this? Oh, that's the C of that wick, sorry. The 15 minute. So one thing I have been keeping an eye on is from yesterday's pump, this 15-minute gap. I have been watching for that for the pullback today, and I was really hoping So the main thing I wanted to see today is for it to get through that gap and come to low of day, previous low of day. Did not doing that. I thought we were really set for it when, you know, the morning move was pushing for these equal highs here, and then we had a sell-off. We had lunch come up and take some buy side, and I thought we were prime to come down and close this gap and potentially go for low of day. That was my big target today. We ended up just chopping around a lot at the end of the day, the afternoon session. It did have, you know, we're looking at the 15-minute. It did have a, you know, slow sell-off, but it's nothing that made you feel great about it, right? Because it kept pushing up and hitting different buy-side targets and stuff as it went along. Let's drop down. Actually, let's put the CE here of this gap because I was watching that, and that was a point today that kept coming up. So we'll look at the CE there. That was 41.2675. Drop down to a 5-minute. And the 5-minute was probably the clearest all day as far as when we are in these weird choppy zones here. You know, it respected for the most part the pattern, I guess, the downward pattern that was playing out. So, you know, scalped a couple of wins in here and also potential scalps that failed. So got to work on that a little bit. I feel like I'm getting more comfortable with it every day. Just got to sort of put a couple more pieces of the puzzle together, and yeah, I think we're looking pretty good. So like I said, that CE, we hit it from the beginning, the morning drop into lunch. Lunch pushed up, took this high, pretty big, and then we started a sell-off right after lunch, and I'll show you this here. We have another golden fib situation, and that looked really great. So there were a couple things that happened with that drop down and pullback, right? It was the golden fib. We also had this like 3-box setup, right? So this kind of consolidation period, this false run up part, oops, didn't click to close it, this return to the gap, or return to the consolidation, and finally this wick here, topping out, you know, at the top of this range, coming up into the top of this range before a displacement. Now, this was a great setup, and I really thought it was going to run straight through this CE and then close the gap. Didn't end up happening, right? It actually tapped exactly on the CE and then pulled back, broke through, pulled back, did some choppiness as it did pull back there. So yeah, it didn't pan out, but I think the entry was really great. And you know, taking low of day here, I guess could have been just enough for a win there. So if you played that kind of box setup, the power 3, accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. The distribution didn't go great, but it's still, you know, it's a nice play. It's a nice play if you can get in on that. So just be aware of the situation. Be aware of the high resistance run here. I mean, pretty much throughout the whole thing, we saw a lot of pullbacks, so, you know, when that happens, maybe just look for the next target, right? And that's basically what it did, right? So it comes up here, doesn't clear the highs, just a retrace in that golden area, comes down, clears this sell side out, hits the CE again, comes back up, busts through, clears the low of the day, and that was it. that was it for it. Thought we were going to get another push at 345 to make new lows of the day, maybe even close the gap, but it ended up just, just kept that price really tight. So that's what we're looking for today. I still feel like that downside bias is good when you look at the higher time frames, right? We're doing these waves. I don't think we go above this until we go down here at least to this 4-hour gap, right? That's my guess. If you go to the daily, I mean, look at the run up, and you got to realize what the run up took. It took these equal highs here on the daily. That's pretty big. It did not take this one, and it did not take this one. If we're thinking about the golden fib idea, we would look for a retrace all the way back down here. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen, but yeah, the bias is definitely bearish for now. Probably, I don't know. I don't really want to call it because I'm not that great at the longer term bias yet, but I think this probably takes up a lot of February coming back down here. It would be great if we had an end of month push for that high to break, to actually have the market structure break. But like I said the other day, when price came back up here to do that retrace on yesterday, I was going to say on Tuesday. Tuesday was just yesterday. When it did that yesterday, instead of going down to this 4-hour gap, my longer term bias turned sort of bearish there. We'll see how it plays out. Still learning. Once again, this is trying to use ICT concepts as I'm learning them to predict movement and back tests and all that stuff. So if you're interested in ICT, the link is always in the description. Go learn from him. He is the one giving out all his secrets. I'm just trying to interpret them and apply them. There's some other great people out there trying to do this and spreading their knowledge as well. So, search it out. There's a lot of stuff out there. It's pretty exciting. So if you're interested in joining the community, the link is always in the description as well. Please join Discord. You can hang out and talk about price movement and ICT setups and concepts. We do it all day. So look forward to having you. Anyways, that's it for today. Hope you guys had a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.